as you guys know, our mission in OT Genius is to basically help pre-occupational therapy students get into occupational therapy school the Genius way. What I mean by that is to help students get into OT school without wasting any time or money. And more specifically, as you know, me doing this platform, I commonly get asked if OT is the right decision for them. That is a very, very common question that I get. As a matter of fact, I have a student that emailed me today and apparently was enrolled in an OT program, had a very bad experience within the OT program, and is just messaged me earlier today and is debating about going back. And she's like, should I go back? Basically, all of that to just say that everybody's experience is a little bit different, and coming up with the decision of whether to go to occupational therapy school or, even in this student's case, to go back to occupational therapy school can be very, very just daunting. I am going to share a little bit of my story and hope that it will at least give you a little bit of clarity or guidance as to whether or not this is right for you. And so I remember that I was an undergrad and I had a friend who was pursuing physical therapy. I don't know if she told me about OT because she didn't want me to think about PT, because that would mean I was going to be her competition. But there was this friend of mine. She was a sociology major just like me. We were taking classes together. We would study together, and we were very, very, very close friends. And she mentioned the words, "I think you would make a very great OT." I was like, what the heck is that? Because I had never even heard of OT before. She told me, this was in her words, well, if you work in pediatrics, you would get to play with a Wii and you would work on their range of motion. And I was like, what? I could play with kids and I could be there on the Wii? That sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe this is for me. Then I asked, I remember, do I need to take science prerequisites? And she was like, yes, you need to take anatomy, physiology, and whatever else is required depending on your schools. And I was like, nope, not for me. I do not like the sciences. I have a bad experiences with the sciences as an undergraduate. Failed General Bio 1, what the heck? I just had a very bad experiences with the sciences, and I basically was very, very scared to pursue this journey because I felt that I was going to fail. And I just did not know what the heck I was going to do with that sociology degree come like 2 years later, and then it just kept on playing in my head. You would make a great OT. You would make a great OT. I'm like, I don't know. There I am at this conference writing a life mission statement, and I ended up writing, I want to help people live life to the fullest. I want to live life to the fullest myself. So something like that. I want to live life to the fullest and help others do the same. I had no idea that that was AOTA's mission statement. Anyway, when I go and I am looking up a little bit more of this OT thing that my friend told me about 2 years ago, I find out that my life mission statement that I wrote, that I want to live life to the fullest and help others do the same, was the exact motto. And I was like, maybe I do need to look more into this. And I just basically fell in love with what the occupation had to offer via YouTube videos, even through the observation hours. And I just thought that it was a very, very great profession for me personally. Now, here's also the thing that ended up happening. It was a very isolating experience in the sense of I was the only one in my family to have really gone to college, get a bachelor's degree, and go away for college the way that I did, and let alone get a master's degree. My family did not really have an understanding of what financial aid looks like, what pricing is looking like, how tuition prices are increasing and what that really means, and how do you pay back loans. There was no real understanding of this within my family, so a lot of it I had to figure out on my own. I wish that I just would have connected better with people that were already in the position that I wanted to be. So that's one of the reasons too why I created this platform, is because I want you guys to basically feel free to be able to ask the questions that you guys have and connect with one another, because you guys don't have to go through this period alone. Whether you are in the pre-OT phase or OT school, like, you can't do this alone. It's a very stressful experience, and sometimes you just really need either someone to just keep you going, or you just need someone that's going to give you the clarity that you need. I didn't really have that, aside from some of, at the time, there were acquaintances in my prerequisite classes. Those acquaintances in my prerequisite classes ended up becoming some of my best friends to date, and they're OTs like me. I ended up getting into OT school and did really well. Now, here's the thing though. The story, as the years have progressed, has not been the same. I have seen, more specifically, like, this is really what I want to touch upon, is that there's an excitement when you're a pre-OT about getting into OT school. Like, you just start thinking about the possibilities. You get that acceptance letter, and you really start just imagining the possibilities and what OT school is going to be like. And oh my gosh, I'm going to have this master's degree, and how wonderful is this? You know, like, I'm going to be a part of this profession. I'm accepted. Like, there's just something about that word, I'm accepted, right? But what I've noticed is that there's all this excitement as a pre-OT and OT student. You start posting all of this stuff. You start learning about splints for the first time when you're in OT school, and you're like, oh my gosh, look at my first splint. Let me post it on Instagram. Oh my gosh, these are my OT best friends, OT BFFs forever. And then all that passion that you had while you were a student, all that excitement that you had, you'll see that a lot of people, it just dwindles down. All that excitement about how excited they were about the program, or how excited they were to be be an occupational therapist, all those posts about OT month or whatever, you see your classmates just start, like, not really posting either as much. And I know that's not the thing, but to give you an even better example, I heard it firsthand from a classmate of mine that graduated with me. She literally told me, I do not know if I could do this forever. I don't know if you feel that way, Jess. And I literally answered her, I can't see myself working in this setting where I was, like, more often. I was working in an inpatient rehab. I'm still in the same job. I work inpatient rehab like 2 weekends a month. But here's the thing. I could not see myself doing the same thing day after day, like she was saying. But the only way that I knew I was going to make this career worth it, the only way that I knew that I was going to maintain the passion that I have for the profession, is if I did what I loved. And what I really do love is advocacy, spreading the word about OT. Like, that, just brings me a lot of joy. Helping you guys, outpatient ortho. So now I'm actually at a place called Hands-On Therapy Services, and I'm doing outpatient ortho, on the road to becoming a CHT. So all that pursuit of me just getting these new goals and keeping it fresh versus monotonous and feeling burned out is not really something that has been an issue. And it's not for me, because I've been trained and I've been taught, and that's what I want to teach you, because you guys are investing a lot of money in this. So if you guys are going to keep this passion, you need to know what settings you are passionate about. This girl that I was mentioning, that coworker of mine that told me I can't see myself being an OT forever, she's burnt out because why? She's not doing what she loves. She's been trying to get out of pediatrics forever. This particular colleague of mine. And she's been doing pediatrics for 2 years. Do you not think that if you do not like pediatrics, you're going to be burnt out? Maybe she has a passion for maybe working a little bit more with hands. So maybe that she should consider either pursuing a job in hands, or even better, you start something yourself. That's why I'm so big on this entrepreneurship thing too for you guys. I know that seems so far ahead. Like the idea of opening a clinic, that seems so far ahead. And I know that it is. But the reason why I told you that I'm not feeling as burned out, is because I'm pursuing what I like, and I know that my job where I'm at Hands-On Therapy Services is going to lead to a lot of great things and can lead to even expansion of the company, and I could help run that. I see the growth potential. I see, and that's what keeps me excited. That's what keeps me excited about just being in it. And that's just a little bit of my personal story and where my career has basically led me to date. I think one of the only ways too, or just a little suggestion, is to start. You don't have to necessarily do observation hours, to start learning about what your passions are. You need to start learning more about your identity. Start learning and focusing on your identity as a person. And I think that identity is just so important because we a lot of times, especially again in the pre-OT phase, we're so excited and we tie our identity while we're in OT school, or maybe even in the beginning, to this profession. And we're like, I'm an OT, but what if, God forbid, anything happened to my hands? I'm praying, Lord, protect me, over that, because I need these hands in order to work. But I can't tie my identity to just being an OT. There's so much more to you as an individual. You guys may be great with kids, so maybe that's what's going to lead you to maybe be a good pediatric occupational therapist. Maybe you just being great with kids is going to allow you to be maybe not an actual OT, but use those skills that you have to be a counselor, and you can use the skills that you learned in OT school to be an even better counselor. There's many routes that you can take with this OT thing. And so I just kind of want to leave you with that. Just basically start learning more about what you're good at, what your passions are, what lights you up. Is it working with people that have sports injury? Maybe you are an athlete and you really, really just love the idea of working with athletes. That's kind of a little bit more my jam, so I think that's why I'm so happy working at the outpatient ortho center that I'm at. I have people that are over 40, very active, and they want to get back to their hobbies, and, and that's what makes me very, very fired up about what I'm doing. But, if you don't find ways to keep it fresh, you are going to burn out. And I just want it to be very well known that it is unfortunately an issue within this profession, but I really do believe that does not have to be the case for you. Not if you are doing what you want, and if you, like I said earlier, if entrepreneurship is something for you, I highly recommend that you look into it, because you run the show. Nobody is telling you when you can clock in, how much you're going to get paid as an OT. Nobody's going to be telling you, you have to see this many patients. You are running the show. So if what's bothering you about occupational therapy later on is about how you need to see 4 patients at a time, then maybe what's right for you is to open up a clinic that is going to allow you to maybe give that one-on-one quality care that a lot of people seek. So I think that's been very, very just useful for me to prevent burnout throughout my career. Again, know and be very, very clear about who you are as an individual. Do the things that are going to keep you just sane and happy within your career by keeping it fresh, because you do not want to be like that colleague of mine that just 2 years in is already saying, I don't know if I want to do this. Did I make the right choice? So if you're planning on being the typical OT student that just wants to go into their classes and like pass, and that's it, then OT school may not be for you. If you plan on just being a typical OT therapist, that average therapist that is not really going to strive to be better and provide your patients and clients what's best, then I don't think OT is for you, because you're going to get burnt out. You're going to be like, why am I doing this for my patients? Why am I studying all this if you don't really care? I think that is just one of the keys. Keep it fresh again. If you want to call the shots and you don't, and all the problems that are happening within the OT world, such as insurance reimbursements rates being going down the drain, seeing a bunch of patients at the same time at the sacrifice of quality care, entrepreneurship may be for you. So burnout is just preventable, and don't make it your story. I'm proof that it doesn't have to be that way. I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I know others do too, because of the steps that they're taking in their lives.